All right, question number 25 is a question on indices. It says 5 to the n plus 1. The question isn't clear on the paper, but it says 5 to the n plus 1 multiplied by 5 to the n plus 2. Now, the law of indices that is used here is this law. It's the product law. A to the m times a to the n is equal to a to the m plus n. This is the product law of indices. And essentially, what it says is, if you're multiplying and the base is the same, you add the indices. Now, the base is 5 and 5, so the base is the same, we add the indices. You have n plus 1 plus n plus 2. N plus n is 2n, 1 plus 2 is 3. The answer is 5 to the 2n plus 3. All right. Question number 26 is algebra. It's a simple equation. It says, well, the first thing you should do is to remove the brackets by applying distributive law. Distributive law says whatever is in the bracket is multiplied by what is immediately outside the bracket. So 5 times y is 5y, 5 times 2 is 10, minus 3 times y is minus 3y. Now, here is where people might make mistake. Be careful and don't. A negative times a positive is a negative, and 3 times 4 is 12. So we simplify over the left-hand side. 5y minus 3y is 2y, and minus 10 minus 12 is minus 22. If the signs are the same, add and keep the sign. Minus 22 on the left goes over to the right and becomes positive. So now we have 2y is equal to 22. Divide both sides by 2, we get y is equal to 11. The answer is B. Question 27, it's vectors. It says item 27 refers to the following vectors, P and Q. P is a vector 3, 7. Q is a vector minus 2, 5. The vector P minus Q. The vector P minus Q. Now, essentially, all that we're going to do, here the vectors are represented as a column matrix. So you just in a sense, what you're simply doing is subtracting 2 matrices. So it's 3 minus minus 2. Minus minus is the same as saying plus. A negative times a negative is a positive. 3 plus 2 is 5. And 7 minus 5 is 2. This is an easy question. The answer is C. All right, question number 28 is a simple vector question. We're asked to find the vector EG, EHGF, EFGH is a parallelogram. Now, vectors on opposite sides of a parallelogram going in the same direction are equal. So this vector here is M, the one to the left is M, the one to the right is M. The vector up top is K, the vector at the bottom going in the same direction is also what K. Vectors on opposite sides of a parallelogram going in the same direction are equal. Now, using the triangle law of vectors, the vector EG is equal to the vector EH plus HG. It's a triangle law of vectors. You start with E, you end with G, and the other letter H is in the middle. Now, EH is equal to M, and G and HG is equal to K. The answer is M plus K. Turn it around, it is what? K plus M. The answer is A. That's one of those questions that nobody should get wrong. 29 is easy. It has to do with equal matrices. We have 5 times the matrix XY is equal to 4 times the matrix 10, 20. You multiply the matrix on the left by 5, multiply the matrix on the right by 4. Now we have 2 equal matrices. Now when 2 matrices are equal, corresponding elements are equal. The word corresponding means in the same position. So it means that 5x is equal to 40, because they're both the top elements, and 5y is equal to 80. Divide both sides by 5, and you get what? X is equal to 40 divided by 5 is 8. Y is equal to 80 divided by 5 is 16. The answer is B. People are making mistakes. They know what to do, but they're making mistakes. 32 is asking for the perimeter. Perimeter is the length of the distance around something. So to get the perimeter, you simply add up all the sides. When we add up the length of all the sides, we get 0.2 meters. But we're asked for the answer in millimeter. 1,000 millimeters make a meter. So you simply multiply the meter value by 1,000. 0.92 times 1,000. Move the decimal point 3 places to the right, you get 920 millimeters. All right. 30 is asking us to multiply two matrices. So we're going to multiply two matrices. Now, when you're multiplying two matrices, you multiply the rows. You multiply the rows in the first matrix by the columns in the second matrix. When you're multiplying a row by a column, you multiply what? First element in the row, first element in the column, second element in the row, second element in the column, third element in the row, third element in the column. Every time you multiply a row by a column, you get an element in the answer. So if I multiply the top row by the left column, I'm going to get the top left element. So it's 1 times 3. Sorry, 1 times 3. 3 times 2 and minus 3 and minus 3 times 0. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, minus 3 times 0 is 0. So that's the top row, left column. Top row, right column, 1 times 0 is 0, 3 times 1 is 3, minus 3 times 5 is minus 15. Bottom row, left column, 3 is 9, 0 times 2 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0. Bottom row, right column, 3 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, 5 times 5 is 25. Simplify, we end up with what? 9 minus 12, 25. The answer is B. I saw persons who got, I even saw persons got 31 wrong when they shouldn't. If it took a speedboat 9 hours to travel a distance of 1,080 kilometers, what is the average speed in kilometers per hour? Now, average speed is equal to total distance divided by total time. So that's a simple division. The answer is 120. Now, 33 says if the circumference of a circle is 15, then the length of the minor arc AB is in centimeters is, now, the formula for the length of the arc is L is equal to theta over 360 times what? Is theta over 360 times 2 pi r. But 2 pi r calculates the circumference. So L is actually equal to theta over 360 multiplied by the circumference. Theta is the sector angle, which is what? 120. So the length of the minor arc AB is 120 over 360 times the circumference, which is 15. The answer is B. Persons got that wrong, they shouldn't have. And I hope you don't get it wrong from now on. Question 34. Now, question 34 says, an aircraft leaves A at 1600 hours and arrives at B 1930 hours, traveling at an average speed of 550 kilometers per hour. A and B are in the same time zone. The distance from A to B in kilometers is, well, first of all, distance is actually equal to speed multiplied by time. The speed is 500 and what? 50 kilometers per hour. Now, in speed, distance, and time calculation, when the unit of speed is kilometers per hour, the unit of time must be in hours only. When I calculate the time of the journey, which is arrival minus departure, I get 3 hours and 30 minutes. But in the calculation, the time must be in hours only. So 3 hours and 30 minutes is the same as saying 3.5 hours. Distance is speed multiplied by time. It's 550 multiplied by the time, 3.5. 3.5 is the same as saying 7 over 2. The answer is D, 1925. Now, this question now, I had a problem with it. Question 35, because I don't see the answer And well, what can we say about this? Well, is either CXC make a mistake or I am wrong. Let's find out. Item 35 refers to the following diagram, which shows a circle with center O, a sector, and the major and minor arcs indicated. So the major arc is indicated by the dotted line. The minor arc is EF. We are told the length of the major arc EF is 40 centimeters. Oh, I me do something wrong. I'm the one who did something wrong. All right, so I'm gonna have to fix this. I did something wrong. It's okay, I can fix it. We're told that the length of the major arc, and let's see if after I fix it, if the answer is there. So fixing it, I'm gonna do it from scratch. Now, we're told that the length of the major arc, so the major arc is actually the dotted line that you're seeing. So we're told that the length of the dotted line is 40 centimeters. What is the circumference of the circle? Now, guys, the sector angle for the major sector is this, which is actually what? 360 minus what? 60, which is 300. The sector angle for the major sector is 300. So the length of the major sector L is theta over what? 360 times 2 pi r. And this we're told is equal to what? 40. Let's put in what we know. We're being asked to find the circumference. So L, therefore, L is the sector angle for the major sector. For the minor sector, it's 60. For the major sector, it's 300 over 360 times 2 pi r, which is the circumference, is equal to what? 40. Let's make over the left side one fraction. 300 times c is 300 c over 360 times 1, 360, is equal to 40 over 1. 16 to this is 5, 16 to this is 6. We have 5c over 6. Remember, c is the what? Circumference, is equal to 40 over 1. If I have one fraction is equal to one fraction, c is the circumference. To get rid of the fraction, I will cross multiply. So 5c times 1 is 5c, is equal to 6 times 40, which is what? 240. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 5 to determine the circumference. And the circumference C is 5 into that goes 4, and the remainder 40. 5 into 24 is what? 4 and the remainder 4. 5 into 40 is 8. The answer is 48, which is balloon.
Yes, sir.
All right. 38. 38 says, I saw persons get 38 as wrong, which they shouldn't. We're told that a square has the same area as a rectangle, with sides of length 9 centimeters and 16 centimeters. So the area of a rectangle is actually length times width. The length is 16, the width is what? 9. So 16 times 9 is 144. So the area of the rectangle is 144, but we're told that the square has the same area. Now the area of a square is actually what? Length times length, which is what? Length square. So the area of the square, which is length square, is equal to 144. The opposite of square is square root. The square root of 144 is 12. The length of one side of the square is 12. All right, persons did better than at this question than I thought they would. It's a novel question. I think it's the first time I'm seeing it. Item 39 and 40 refers to the following frequency distribution, which shows the average mass in kilogram of a group of children in a school. So 15 children, their mass is what? Between what? 21 and 30 kilograms. 35 children, their mass is between 31 and 40 kilograms. And 24, and so on and so forth. Now, we're asked now for the upper limit of the modal class. Now, over to the right there, see I wrote, the mode class is the class with the highest frequency. Now, the highest frequency is 40, and it corresponds to a what? The class 50 to 51 to 60. Now, we're asked for the upper class limit. Now, in the class 51 to 60, 60 is the upper class limit, and 51 is the lower class limit. We're asked for the upper class limit. The upper class limit is 60. Next, we're asked, how many children have a mass greater than 40? Well, greater than 40 starts here. 41 to 50, that's where greater than 40 starts. So every child after that point has a mass that is either 40 or that is greater than 40. So in total, there are what? 82 children who have a mass that is greater than 40. Item 41 refers to the table which shows the frequency of scores obtained by students on a test. The mode score is. Now the mode is the value with the highest frequency. The frequency is the number of students. These are the value. And these are the what? The student, number of students corresponds to the what? Frequency. The highest frequency is 12, and it corresponds to a score of what? 8. The mode is what? 8. The highest frequency is 12, the mode is 8. All right, by now, we're asked what? For the median, it says item 42 refers to the following diagram of a cumulative frequency curve, which shows the marks obtained by 200 students on a test. Now, the median of the marks scored by the 200 students is, now the median is the score of the student in the middle, or student number n divided by 2. N is at the extreme top, it's 200 students. N divided by 2 is 200 divided by 2, which is 100. The median is the mark of student number 100. You go across, it's past 30, past 35, in the middle between 35 and what? 40. The median is 37.5 marks. Item 43, how many students took part in the survey? Now, 43, the diagram you're looking at is a histogram. Over here, we have frequency. And down here, we have what? Value. Now, the value is what? Years, and the frequency is number of what? Children. So the total number of children would be the sum of the frequency. So you add them, 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1. 15 children took part in the survey. Number 45 is asking which of the following equation represents a linear function. Now, a linear function is a function of this form. Y is equal to mx plus c. The answer is c, which is what? Which is y plus 3 is equal to 2x, can be expressed in that form. It's y is equal to 2x minus 3. So this is in the same form as that. So e is a linear function. 44 says 600 students write an examination. The probability of randomly selecting a student failing is 1 out of 5. How many students are expected to pass? Well, the probability, if the probability of failing is 1 out of 5, it means that 4 out of 5 are expected to pass. Now, probability is the total number of students who pass, which I don't know, n, over the total number of students, which is 600, is equal to the probability of passing, which is what? 4 over what? 5. This should be your cross multiply or your half cross multiply, and you get 4/5 of 400 of 600, which is 480. That's a question you can look over again. This is the probability of passing. The probability of passing would be the number of students who pass out of what? 600, and out of 600, I don't know the number of students who pass. A half cross multiply, I get 480. Now, both, I'm not sure if anybody got 46 right. I'm not sure. Now, they said the set of ordered pairs below represents a relation that is a function. Which of the following points, when added to the sets, would form a relation that is not a function? First of all right, if I wanted to, I could draw. If I wanted to, I could draw the arrow diagram for this function. The arrow diagram is what? 2 to 7, minus 4 to what? 6, 10 to 4. It's a 1-to-1 function. That's a function. Now, which of the points, if I add it now to this function, it would no longer be a function. The point is what? This 2, 8. So 2, 8 would now make it mean that 2 now go to what? 8. Want to see it? I want everyone to see it. All of a sudden, no, it's not a function. Because if 2 arrow leaves any element in the domain, the relation is not a function. I'm going to draw it over just to explain it. And then I'm going to go into it. This is the function. This is the function. These are the points in the function. As an arrow diagram, it would be what? 2, 7. Minus 4, 6. 10, 4. Now, the point that I can't add for it For it to remain a function now, remember, for an arrow diagram to be a function, one arrow must be leaving every element in the domain. This is the domain and this is the range. If I put in the point 2, 8, now I'm going to have what? An arrow coming from 2 going down to what? 8. So now I have 2 arrows leaving 2. If 2 arrows leave 2, the relation is no longer a function. For a relation, for an arrow diagram to be an arrow diagram of a function, one arrow must be leaving every element in the domain. So here's what I wrote. If one domain element in a set of ordered pairs is repeated, the relation is not a function. So any number, notice the domain elements are what? The domain are the x values. They cannot repeat. If they repeat, the relation is not a function. If I put in the point 2, 8 in the set of ordered pairs, the domain element 2 is going to repeat. Once a domain element repeat, the relation is what? No longer a function. Do not get this wrong again, guys. Never ever, if you ever see it again, don't get it wrong. 47 says, the arrow diagram above describe the relation. Well, x is a multiple of what? Of y. 8 is a multiple of 2 and it's a multiple of what? 4. 9 is a multiple of 3. 10 is a multiple of what? 2. In other words, 2 and 4 can go into 8 is a remainder. So the relation is x is a multiple of y. 28, I see people getting all 28 wrong. What is the gradient of the straight line? Now, to determine the gradient of a straight line from represented as an equation, you have to get it in this form. Y is equal to mx plus c. In other words, you need to make y the subject. Once it is in that form, the number in front of y is in front of x is the gradient. So now I have what? 2y is equal to minus 3x minus 8. All I have to do is divide the entire equation by 2 to get rid of the 2 on the left so that I can make y the subject. When I do that, the number in front of x now is going to be minus 3 over 2, and minus 3 over 2 is the gradient. Oh, I didn't do 49. All right.